This is Palace Radio. Make sure you tune in to Palace Radio for all your match previews, interviews and Palace news. Tell us your opinions by tweeting at Palace Radio. This is the Palace Radio Podcast with your presenters Alex White and Jim Daly. This is Palace Radio.
This is Palace Radio and we are back. I'm joined in the studio by Jim. Later on I'm going to be joined by Keith Millen, the man himself. We'll be talking all things West Brom this weekend and how we go about beating them. We'll also be talking about lineups, we'll talk about ours and then the ones that you've sent in to us as well. So make sure you get involved on the show. Welcome to the first Palace Radio Podcast.
This is the Palace Radio Podcast, proudly sponsored by Syscap for all your IT financing solutions.
Jim Daly, we're back. How do you feel? Welcome back to Palace Radio. We weren't gone for very long.
Okay.
But we're back now.
We're
better,
back.
Trendier.
Are we trendier?
Cooler.
I don't feel
younger.
Trendier. I'm definitely not younger.
Yeah, but you're the older one, I'm the younger one. It's like good cop, bad cop.
Which one am I?
We'll let the listeners decide.
Okay.
So, we beat Watford again, literally the same way.
It was so reminiscent, wasn't it, of that playoff final? Everything about it.
And you know what? They hate Wilf more, even more now, and I love it. I absolutely love the fact they hate Wilfred Zaha so much. What did you make of his impact when he came on? Because I argued even before the game, I'm just taking the credit parts. If you want me in the dugout,
okay.
I said he should have started the game.
Well,
just saying, he came on and made the difference.
I think you're wrong. We're going to start off the show by disagreeing. I actually think that Pardew got it spot on by dropping him for the first half.
Impact.
It impacts up. We've said that in the past, that I think Wilf is sometimes better off the bench, especially against weary legs, you know. And Wilf needs that focus. He needs someone to say to him, look, you weren't good enough last week. I'm dropping you now. You've got 45 minutes or half an hour to come on and prove to me you can change this game. You know, I think Wilf is one of those guys that just needs to have his head put in the right direction, a bit of focus, because he's almost like when he's got too much to think about, Wilf, or too much going on in the game, I think that's when he struggles. But one simple task, get on there, win me that game, he's perfect for that. And he was fantastic. They couldn't. Neon, the right back, is supposed to be their best player. He struggled against him. I thought he was fantastic. We
haven't been back for very long, Jim. We haven't been back very long. I'm going to pose this question to you now.
Okay.
Who is a better player? Mm-hmm. Wilfred Zaha or Yannick Bolasie? Go.
Can I? No.
Sit on the fence.
Do you know what? I'm going to say Wilf. I'm not going to sit on the fence. I'm going to say Wilf. I think they're both fantastic players. I think Wilf has got more natural ability. Mm-hmm. They've both got insane amounts of natural ability, but I think the things Wilf can do with the ball, I just think he's better than Bolasie. But I think Bolasie has more of an impact sometimes in games, and I think defenders have more to deal with Bolasie, I think, in certain games. But I mean, you're asking me to choose between Mozart and Beethoven. I'm not really into classical music.
Yeah,
they're both fantastic. And how lucky are we as a club right now to have both of those players? So, most Premier League clubs would kill to have, maybe not kill. They pay a lot of money to have one of those guys. We've got both of them.
I couldn't agree more.
There we go.
I couldn't agree more. This is a bad. Should we just start again?
No, it's good
because we're agreeing, and nobody likes to agree.
It's an interesting question though, and because at one point, one of them's going to go at some point. Not to start this show on a downer. There's been interest from clubs. Bolasie had interest over the summer. One of them's going to go at some point. So what you're asking me really is, which one would I rather see leave? And for the money that's being offered, and considering their age, I'd rather at the moment see Bolasie go. I'd rather not see either go forever. But I think because Wilf is younger, I think he's got more of a value.
But what you're saying is you hate Yannick Bolasie.
Yeah, it's official.
I hate him. Let's start the hashtag. Jim Daly hates Yannick Bolasie. So this is the first one of the season. So we have missed a large chunk of the games. Mm-hmm. Well, not a large, is it?
A
few games.
Yeah.
Just very quickly, what do we make of the season so far? Because pretty much it couldn't have gone much better.
It really couldn't. I mean, especially when we looked at those fixtures when they first came out, and that run of Chelsea, Spurs, Man City, or Chelsea, Man City, Spurs. Actually, which round did it go? I honestly thought if we can come through that and we've got 5, 6, 7 points or whatever, we could hopefully get a win against Norwich or Villa, then we'll do all right. The fact that we've won all the games we're supposed to have won, really, we've won one game didn't really have a right to win, and we've not done too badly in the other games. It's an absolutely fantastic start. The only thing that worries me, and this is obviously a classic Palace way of looking at something, is that now everyone's really starting to look at us seriously and put a lot of pressure on us by saying, okay, we could be this team.
Jim, get out. You're putting downers on Pardew, but get out now. No, I couldn't agree more. I think that we've played well in pretty much every game. One game we played our poorest away at Spurs, and we've only lost 1-0 against this team that finished 5th.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I don't want to make too many downers on it, and it was down to a goalkeeping error, we might say.
Yeah.
And we hit the post twice. So let's be honest, we've played badly once and we just about lost. So I've seen Palace play badly, right?
I mean, you could argue. I mean, we've both seen Palace play.
I've been to Barnsley away a few times. We never win at Barnsley.
we never do win at Barnsley. You could argue we didn't play brilliantly in the first half at Norwich or the first half against Villa. I mean, not terribly.
Yeah.
But for the games that they were, I think we were hoping for a bigger impact.
Yeah.
But what's been pleasing is those games is that
Pardew has
we've got the points. Pardew changed things around at half time, and we've got the squad at the moment that you can change things around. But also they're always in games. Like you said in the Spurs game, we were still in it.
Hit the post twice, and
we
were quite bad actually. I don't want to be too negative. I thought we were bad.
We were second best, but would you say we were? I would say we were second best, but we were never out of the game.
Never out of the game, but the thing that frustrated me is that I think they're rubbish. I think Spurs, okay, they've just beaten City 4-1, so now I look like a massive moron. I look like a massive moron, but I do think that's what made it worse for me, is that I actually think we're better than them.
They're certainly not a complete team,
I think we're better than them. I genuinely think man for man we're better than them.
I don't know about man for man.
Other than Eriksen, realistically.
Lloris.
Speroni. Jim, you are off to an awful start here. Is anyone else?
So we've worked out that I'm realist cop. You're fantasist cop.
You're just bad cop.
I think we're more of a team than Spurs. I would say possibly. I think we've got a better. I want to use a cliche. A better sort of unit, better sort of togetherness. If we're going to use more cliches, which is why it was frustrating that we didn't play very well in that game, because we know we can do better.
Fair enough. We have to play well this weekend. We have to.
Yeah.
Are you nervous?
I'm a little bit nervous because it feels like Pulis.
Don't say the name. It's blasphemy.
I said it. It's like Voldemort. Oh, I said that as well. Oh my word. It feels like he might have a little bit of a spell over the club still, and that stems back to him leaving, not just the last time we played West Brom. You know what I mean? Like, and it feels a little bit like he might be. I'm going to jinx it so hard. He might be one of those managers that we never beat.
Do you know what, Jim? I've actually had enough now. We've been in 5 minutes, and you told us you hate Yannick Bolasie. You told us that Tony Pulis is going to beat us all the time. You told us that Speroni isn't God.
I've had a long day. I've had a long day,
Jim. I've had a long day.
I think. We probably will win, and I think we should be beating teams like West Brom all the time.
Keep going.
But the way that Pulis sets up teams, he sets up to frustrate us. And there's something about the way we play at the moment, Palace, that I think when we get frustrated, we don't always know what to do. And we saw that against Villa, and we saw that a bit against Norwich. I mean, Norwich came at us. I think we're learning. We're a team that's still learning how to play together, but we've got the quality. We've got such a good team, and you look at the front six or however we play, front seven, front six. They're all fantastic players. So I think the frustration almost sometimes comes from within, because we know we can do better. We're not doing badly at all.
No, I agree with that frustration, but I think we bought that answer in the summer. I think Johan Cabaye. I do think.
Oh, I thought you meant Patrick Bamford. Sorry.
No, actually, no, I didn't. Or what's this other new guy that we bought this week? What's his name? The youngster, French guy, Jason.
Lockilo.
We'll just call him Jason.
Jason, just J Dog.
Good old J. No, but I do think that Cabaye is the answer for that. I don't think we've seen anywhere near the best of Johan Cabaye, but in a
Agreed.
game like this, we know the Tony Pulis game plan pretty much better than most people. He's going to play 5 centre-backs across, 4 centre-backs, and then 5 midfielders with Craig Gardner on the wing. Okay?
Yeah.
That is right, Craig Gardner on the wing. I'm not going to say any more, I'll leave that to you West Brom fans, but they're going to give us the ball.
Yeah.
And we have Punchin and Cabaye who are pretty good with the ball.
They are.
So, for me, he needs to step up and put his best performance in this weekend. I think, why doesn't he shoot? Does anyone else realise this? Why does Johan Cabaye literally not pick up the ball, look, and just hit it?
He had one against Charlton in the Cup, didn't he, where he smashed it against the bar.
Yeah, but I kicked at the bar against Charlton. Did you see that team? It was like their 5th choice team. I fancied it. He's playing left back at the moment. I give him a run for his money.
I think you're right about Cabaye. I think he's going to only get better and better and better. And every time you see him play, you just realise how much quality he's got. And he makes the rest of our team play better. I mean, MacArthur's a good player, and last season, you know, he got really good all-round performances. But this season, he looks even better. He's using the ball better. Do
you know what I love as well? Like, no disrespect to James MacArthur, but if MacArthur picks up the ball in midfield, Cabaye will literally sprint, take the ball off of him and go. It's just like he knows. Like, everything goes around Cabaye. And yeah, let's be honest with ourselves, probably the best player to play for Crystal Palace. I wasn't really around for Lombardo.
Oh my God, you're so young.
Yeah.
Lombardo was a bit different because maybe he wasn't different, but Cabaye felt like the right signing at the right time for us, didn't it? But Lombardo came out of... I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but we've been talking about progress the whole time, haven't we? Lombardo, we just got promoted, and suddenly we had this money from nowhere. We signed this player who was playing for Juventus at the time, and I think had just won the European Cup or hadn't long won the European Cup. That was a real bolt from the blue. Cabaye, I think, was like a fantasy signing, but at the back of our minds we thought, well, this is the sort of thing we should be trying to do. Whereas Lombardo was just... I can't explain how... When my dad came into the living room and told me we signed Lombardo, I was like really into Italian football at the time as well, and I just couldn't...
You would be though, wouldn't you? Italian football is very boring, very slow, very
not
dry.
when I was into it, not in the mid-90s.
So you turned it boring and slow.
It turned boring and slow, and then I stopped following it and started following Palace.
Well, yeah.
And
that turned very boring.
That had a decade of being boring and slow. I think you're right about Cabaye. He's just fantastic, and what I like about him is the other side of his game as well. Like, yes, he's good on the ball, but you look at his defensive side.
Did that surprise you though? Because that surprised a lot for me. I always knew he had that side to his game, but I never... The whole talk around him joining in the Sun was like, he's going to play number 10. What are we going to do with Punchy and Dilemma? My God, we've got both of them in the team. And Cabaye.
I know.
We've got like 3 gods in our team now. We've got Speroni, God.
Yeah.
Cabaye, God.
Yeah.
Murray Went, who was God.
Yeah.
Which we might squeeze in because it's my show. And when it's my show, Murray happens, whether we like it or not. It's always going to be...
I'm down with that. I'm down with that big time.
You've got to be. But... He's got the most interceptions in the league.
Yeah, which is something I didn't expect. But I mean, Newcastle fans at the time did say that he played deeper for them, and he might play deeper for you. And I remember thinking, no, he won't. He'll play further forward. But he's like the complete player because he can use the ball. But I watched him against can't remember which game, one of the most recent games, and it was after I think it was Watford because it was after the interception thing, and I was like watching him off the ball, and he's so good at reading the play.
He just runs, doesn't he? Just run. He does this awesome thing that I tried to do at Sunday League level, where he slides through and he gets up whilst he's doing the slide tackle.
It's like ballet, isn't it?
And it's like me, I'm running up, putting in a 2 foot, getting stuck in the mud, pulling a shin pad up, pulling the guy's teeth out the floor. It's just... Why? Like, he's just so good defensively, but...
He's another player of athlete. He's another level of athlete.
But do you think this weekend he's going to have to play further forward?
No.
Because...
No.
How much defensive work is he going to have to do, 1?
He might have to do
And 2, we're going to have to be relying on him to create, right?
But I think he can do that. He can do that from deep. And he's proved he can do that from deep. I think we've got enough other players in number 10 or further forward that we don't need him that far forward. And to be honest... I think that was probably in Pardew's thinking when we signed him in the summer, or in the club's thinking when we signed him, that actually, because we were all thinking, well, who's going to lose out? Punch is going to lose out, or is Punch going to go wide, and then Yala or Wilf loses out? But actually, they can all fit in the same side because there is this other side to Cabaye's game that makes him work in the formation we play. The way we play suits him as well. Like he just fits in already.
Nothing has got me quite as excited as seeing Jason Puncheon and Johan Cabaye on the same pitch.
Apparently, there was rumours, wasn't there, in the summer when they were in pre-season training. I think it was Pardew came out and said the things that they're doing together on the ball already in training is mesmerising.
My goodness, Jim.
What a time to be alive.
It's swell, it certainly is. I'm going to put you in the dugout, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've got Pards, we've got Woodman, we've got Keith Millen, and now we've got Jim Daly.
Yeah. It was only a matter of time.
I'm happy to help out if there's room, if there's a seat.
Okay. We'll let you know.
What is going to be the game plan this weekend? Because I'm thinking, look, we've said it already, they're going to give us the ball. We've got to go out and attack them. But then there's also that other thing like, let's spring a surprise. Let's be ultra defensive. Let's play Mariappa central midfield. I'm only joking. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. But let's, you know what I mean? Let's sit back. Let's give them the ball.
Well,
what's Craig Gardner going to do from right wing on the ball?
I feel like Craig Gardner has scored a couple of worldies in his time.
But do you know what? It's actually going to be a really good game plan, I think, this weekend when they play him there, because he's got Pap Suarez running at him.
I really like Suarez.
And
I really like him.
I would be very scared if Pap Suarez was running at me.
He's a scary individual. See the picture of him and, was it Daniel Sturridge?
Yes, the eyes.
Eyeballing him, yeah.
The eyes said it all there. So,
yeah.
I'm going to say I would go all-out attack. I would say that Cabaye's got to go further forward. Puncher's got to go further forward. We've got to pin them back, and we've just got to take advantage because we're going to have opportunities in this game.
Yeah.
And we've got to take them. But then there is also that element that they're going to counter-attack really well because they're Tony Pulis' team, and that's exactly what they do.
They've got 7 of their 8 points this season have come away from home. They're actually unbeaten away from home so far. They've got a really, really good record on the road, so they're going to be quietly confident.
I did not know this. I should have planned for this, and I haven't got it written down on my notes, and you've kind of ruined my evening.
That's what I do. I
was excited for this game.
No, listen, but by no means does that mean that we can't beat them. And I actually think you're right. We do need to go for it because it's a sort of game, and as we're playing to West Brom's hands, the longer it goes on 0-0 with us not scoring, they will love it, and we'll get frustrated because, like we said at the top of the show, these are the kind of games that we know we got to win. Having said that, it's not a disaster if we don't. If it comes out 0-0, 1-1, whatever, it's not a disaster. You know, we're doing okay right now. But I would like to see us go for it. I actually think someone like Sacco maybe at some point would be good against them.
Got to shoot from range as well because they're so hard to get in behind.
Exactly,
and that's where obviously your Cabayes and your Puncheons are going to potentially be the difference.
I absolutely agree. I still think I prefer Cabaye playing deeper. I just think for the way we play, it just works, and I like him there because of what else he offers. If you're going to take him out of that defensive position, I mean, yeah, we've got great cover. We've got Joe Ledley, who's a brilliant defensive midfielder and got one of the best beards in world football. I mean, it is the best beard in world football.
It beats yours and mine.
I mean, I tried to grow one a few years ago, and it was patchy.
I'm young. I've still got time.
You've got a lot of time. You've got more time than I have.
Well, come on, Jim. Let's not one of those.
Are you gonna aim for a Ledley beard then?
No.
Really? Never?
Nope.
Okay, good.
Sorry.
Well, you know your limits. That's fine.
Well, you've got to start somewhere. So, Tony Pulis.
You said his name. I thought we weren't saying his.
Yeah, it's my show, Jim.
Oh, okay. So I'm not allowed to, but you are.
Tony P.
Tony P.
The Pulis Meister.
Don't like that.
The Pulis Meister General.
No.
What's your thoughts? Because I, for one, I'm quite bitter.
Okay.
I'm quite bitter about the whole situation. Yeah. I don't want to dwell on it too much because I think now we are, without him, a better run club. I think we're stronger and we have a future. And as good as the times were with Tony Pulis, I always felt as if he could be gone tomorrow because is the heart there like it is with Pardew? I don't know. But what is going to be the reaction to him? Because it was very split and unprofessionally last time. I was stood there in the press box and as he walked out I did go boo and the person next to me did question that.
Fair
and
enough.
I hold my hands up and I apologise for my unprofessionalism in the press box. That will not happen again. So I'm sitting in the home. So I'm sitting in the home style this week.
I wish I could believe you.
I'm sitting in the home style this weekend. What will be your reaction, firstly, and secondly, how I presume you'll get a clap again?
I think actually quite a lot of Palace fans, because of what's happened since, are actually kind of over it.
No, Jim, we have to stay. We're football fans. We're bitter. We're fickle.
I think we were definitely. And he was the pantomime villain, but then I think he would like us to think he's still the villain.
Why don't? To be fair, it is Tony Pulis. He would love the attention on himself.
He probably would.
So why don't we just sing Pardew's name?
Exactly. I totally agree. Make it all about Pards. He'll probably get a smattering of applause and a smattering of boos, as most ex-managers do. I personally will be cheering for Pardew. I'm not going to pay any attention to him. Like an ex-girlfriend that's trying to get my attention, which doesn't.
Oh, Jim.
I'm just going to ignore her texts.
You keep trying to turn it into one of these types of shows, don't you? We'll have a chat after.
I need a chat.
We'll have a chat and a glass of scotch or whatever you old people drink. Cigar.
I'm not that old.
You're old enough. Team.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. I'm gonna. We had some in from listeners. Yeah. Here we go. I'm shuffling around here.
Good
shuffling.
We're going to do theirs first then, yeah?
We're going to do theirs and then we'll show them how it's done.
Well, bear in mind, I'm now on the coaching staff. So.
You are actually, talking of having people on the coaching staff, we will have Keith Millen on the show later.
Oh, lovely Keith.
I spent some time with Keith in the week and he will be on the show. So he's going to make you look even more amateur than you already did.
Which isn't difficult, to be honest.
It's true. It is true. Right, Dave.
Okay,
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
Dave Earl. The one, the only.
The
former presenter is
Dave.
tweeting us in here.
What's he gone for?
He's gone controversial. This is good actually. We'll talk about this in a minute. But he's gone with Wayne Hennessy in goal.
Oh, okay.
So he's gone Hennessy.
Interesting.
Back four: Kelly, Hangeland, Scott Dan, and Papaswari.
Yeah.
Unchanged.
Yeah.
Probably fair enough.
Hard to argue with that.
He's then gone. He's kept Lidley in the team.
Fair enough.
Brought back MacArthur. And got Cabaye at 10. So he's dropped Jason Punchin because he's got Balassi, Zaha and Gale. Bold. I couldn't disagree more. I hope you couldn't disagree more because this show will end prematurely if you do.
I disagree because I think Punch should be in the team. But I see what he's done with Cabaye going further forward. Again, like I said earlier, I don't necessarily agree with that, but I understand the reasoning behind it. I just think Punchin needs to be in there, especially for a game like this where you're trying to unlock, a tight defence. He's got to be in there. I think he's. I was about to say he's our most talented player. He could be. I mean, if you ignore Cabaye and Zaha and Balassi, he's insanely talented. Punch. I think he's one of the best players we've had for a long time, and he's ours. He's South London and proud.
He's one of us.
He's one of our own.
Andy, your friend Andy now.
Yeah. Friend is strong. Let's go with acquaintance.
Well done. He's brought back God.
He's brought back Matt Jansen.
Well, could you imagine Matt Jansen in goal?
No.
He's quite a small fellow, but also so is Julian Sprowney.
But he's a lovely fellow.
What a nice man.
A great goalkeeper. Just a legend in every sense of the word.
Now, Andy, I have a bit of an issue.
I mean, we all do.
Back four: Soiree, Dan, Kelly. Fine, good start.
Yeah.
Mariappa. He didn't actually tell us who's going to be playing where across that back four. So I don't know whether it's going to be Mariappa at right back and Kelly at centre back.
Well, you can play both, can't you?
You can do either. Do we speak about that one?
I don't really know the reasoning, but clearly he's got an issue with Hangeland, which I disagree with massively because I think Hangeland's fantastic. Has been brilliant for us recently.
People criticise the pace.
We know he's got no pace. That's fine.
But I think even this week, he's not going to need the pace because every time he gets the ball, he's going to have about 35 yards in front of him.
Maybe
he might
worry
as well
about
shoot.
Berahino, possibly.
Who?
Saido Berahino.
Oh, no. That petulant kid is even throwing his toys out the pram.
I mean, I think, to be honest, when you someone like Hangeland, and Dan to an extent, I'm not saying Dan's slow, but these guys, they might not have the pace, but they read the game so well. And you saw Hangeland at West Brom, he can just read the game so well, and he had countless block after to interception. And I think so really, I think it's a fallacy, the non-pacing, because these are players that have played their game around that anyway.
Ledley is in Andy's team. A lot of people going with Ledley because he had a good game at Watford. Yeah. I felt he started quite slowly, actually. I felt he looked like a player that hasn't played much football.
Which is fair.
But that block in the second half, I bow down to. I love
Ledley. I think he's brilliant.
Amazing.
And he's the victim of the fact we've just now got a fantastic squad in midfield. And otherwise, he'd he'd be in there week in, week out. And you look at last season and the end of.
But would he? Because I'd like to see what happens when both Jedinak and Ledley are fit.
I think they're both gonna struggle to get in. I still think there's certain games maybe, and maybe arguably this is a game where you need Ledley in there. But I think they're just victims of the fact we've just got fantastic midfield options right now, which is not, to use a cliche, it's a good headache.
He's gone the three in front of Ledley and Kabay. He's gone with Sacco, Puncheon and Balassi. Not sure we could argue with that, man.
No, fair enough.
Nose up.
No,
maybe he's looking for that impact again.
Well, maybe, which is fair enough.
And then Bamford up front.
Bamford!
Who's that? Sorry, is there a picture? Oh, we've got a picture. Oh, I recognise him. Did he play for Middlesbrough?
He's a guy with a nice hair. I can only imagine that he's done that because of...
Could you imagine me with hair like that? Sorry to interrupt the football. Could you imagine me with a Bamford look?
If you grew it out, If you grew it out and dyed it, you're not far off.
I think he looks younger than me.
I challenge you to have Bamford hair with a Ledley beard.
Wow.
It's like Guess Who.
Right, let's get back to the football now.
Can we just say on Bamford, I think we've got no Wickham, Murray's gone. Bamford, in terms of physical stature, is the tallest guy. So if you're looking for a target man, I don't think he plays that role.
No, but he's coming up against probably four centre-halves across their back four in reality.
I think he might struggle. I don't think it's a game for him. But I can understand why someone might want him in there. I think he hasn't shown enough, really. And we have a
Has he had enough opportunity?
He played in the cup against Shrewsbury for a bit. I think he came on. Came off, did he? Didn't look particularly brilliant. It is difficult these days. No one gets time. You've got to hit the ground running in the Premier League, and he's not a bad player. You don't score 19 goals, 20 goals in the Championship without being a bad player. But I wonder if us isn't the right scenario for him at the moment.
At the right time.
In his development.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
So we put you in the technical area earlier.
Good.
And now
Do I get the jacket and stuff? Or
I think we'll give it a few weeks. Cause I'm not sure how long it'd actually last. I mean, there's no point getting.
So I'm just turning up into the dugout wearing my own gear.
Yeah, why not?
Just hoodie and
bring Astros.
Bring my Astros.
You got Astros, haven't you? You're definitely the type of guy to wear Astros and jeans.
No, I'm not. I'm Converse and jeans all day long.
You can get other trainers. They're available. Other trainers are available.
Unless you get free
So you're in Pardew's ear. You're going Pards.
Yeah.
Stop what you're doing.
Yeah.
JD's in town. Yeah.
Yeah. I've never said that in my life, but okay.
This weekend.
I am now. Yeah.
This weekend. Here we go. Starting 11 in goal. Number
whatever his
12.
number is. Alex McCarthy. Who I think has been unfairly criticised by some fans. He's made some mistakes, and those mistakes have invariably resulted in goals. But you look at Hennessy at Watford; he made a few slip-ups and a few spills.
Charlton at home.
That got punished. Watford it didn't. Some games they do, some games they don't. McCarthy's been unlucky with the ones that have been punished, but I think his all-round game otherwise has been really good. He's got a connection with the back four. He's vocal. His kicking is good. He commands his area, he's good in the air. I think there's a lot about him. He's got real potential to be a really, really good goalkeeper.
I don't doubt that for 1 minute. I think that Alex McCarthy is the future of Crystal Palace and probably the future of England, actually. I really do think that he's got that in his locker. I just think at this period, it's so hard if you want to drop a goalkeeper because it does shoot your confidence massively. But results are the most important thing at the moment, right? And I think he was lucky at the start of the season that he slipped up and we still got that result. That Norwich game, he probably should have done better. Aston Villa at home, that perhaps Ryan goal, he could have argued he could have done better. Even the one away at Chelsea, the foul cow header, we used to Speroni getting down to saving that. I think it would have been, I think it's harsh to expect that. I think it's harsh to expect, but I just think that would have been a Speroni-esque save for me.
Maybe.
I think there's been saves that
McCarthy
has pulled off that Speroni couldn't do, but I think for that one,
that Villa game, for example, the own goal was frustrating, but he pulled off 2 or 3 point blank saves,
City at home. But I just think he's a Premier League goalkeeper, and for me, if you're a Premier League goalkeeper, I expect you to pull off top saves.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah.
And I think that's fair enough. He did that against City. He should have done better on the goal.
Yeah, the City goal.
Yeah,
I think so, and I think he'll be the first to admit that. Yeah, I mean it's.
But the same's happened the week after away at Spurs.
Yeah.
Shots come straight in. For me, Julian Speroni is my number one. I don't care if he hasn't played football. He's good enough. I would be starting him in this game.
I mean, I still think Jules has got a role to play, definitely. And I love Jules to bits. But I think I would keep McCarthy in there. I think you're right about the confidence thing. I don't think he's been terrible at all. And yeah, he's made some mistakes, but all players.
He's actually got
mistakes.
the most saves in the Premier League as well.
Well, there you go.
Which maybe shows something towards the defensive side. He's actually pulled off some magnificent saves.
Possibly.
And I'll defend him on that front. But for me, even if he hadn't have made those mistakes, I'd still be looking to get Speroni back in.
I think you're right, though. You're right about McCarthy being the future. Because, we all know Jules is getting on. So even if Jules does come back in, McCarthy is definitely the future for Palace.
Yeah, and he doesn't need to be negative about that in any state. For me, Julian Speroni is the club's number one. Forget the form of the person that stepped in.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Speroni's my goalkeeper.
We all hope that whatever Julian decides to do at the end of this season or next season, he sticks around and is goalkeeping coach or whatever in whatever capacity to help the likes of McCarthy develop.
I think he will. We both gone with a flat back four.
Standard, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Talk me through it.
So I've gone for the same back four that played at Watford. Ward would be in there if he wasn't injured, but I've gone with Kelly. I really like Martin Kelly, and I've spoken about him before. I think his future is a centre back for Palace, but he's versatile and he can do a job. He did a job at left back for us, for a few months previous season. So I like him a lot. Keeps things simple. Struggles against nippy left wingers. But I think he's a good player for us. And then I don't think you can go anyone other than Dan Hangeland Suarez, quite frankly.
I've gone with Mariappa at right back.
I think that's fair enough. I think
we might see Berahino play out wide. Is what I'm thinking.
If that's the case, then maybe Mariappa is a better option.
Because teams are now, like they did last season with Suarez, they're now targeting Kelly. It's something that I feel. And I feel the last couple of games, he's just not a right back. I think that's the problem.
He can do a quote unquote job, but it's not his strongest position. No,
he shows people inside. Sometimes just little panics on distribution. I just think if you could get him playing next to Scott Dan for a couple of seasons, I actually think he could turn. I think anyone playing next to Scott Dan will look very good.
Agreed.
Two big Bruty Scouse guys in the centre half. I think that's a good opportunity. Yeah. And I've gone for a different formation than you.
Okay.
You've gone
with our standard formation.
4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
So you've gone with what, MacArthur and
I've gone with
Makabai
in the middle, which is what I've dubbed them, which no one else calls them.
That won't catch on.
We will see about that.
We will.
I just think they're building up a really strong partnership, and I think we need to cultivate it. Quite simple as that.
Can't complain.
And that's it. I think they're going to be. I think injuries aside or whatever, I think it could turn out to be one of our best midfield partnerships.
My team reflects me and my Sunday League ability.
Okay.
It's just like, not really sure, but attack anyway.
See what happens.
I'm basically Tim Sherwood.
Okay, where's your gilet?
Well, I have got one.
Have you?
I'm just not wearing it.
Okay.
You can borrow it for when you're in the dugout, though. I've gone with
Cabaye.
Good.
So I get a gilet.
Cabaye is holding midfield.
I think that's a lot on Cabaye.
On his own.
That's a lot. That's a lot on him.
For me,
I've
got that. Well, Jim. This is my turn. This is my go. I've got Cabaye holding midfield. I've got Balassi, Zaha out wide. I've then got Puncheon and Sacco at 10. I've got two number 10s. Somebody's going to need to carve open, take some shots. And then Gale. I think if we're playing Gale up top, I think we're going to need someone bigger in Sacco getting tight to him, getting close to him. And I would just pile on the pressure.
I actually think Sacco playing closer to Gale is a very interesting option. And do you remember we played Balassi up front for a few games?
Did I remember it? Did he touch the ball?
Terrible decision, but if you're going to pick a attacking midfielder to play up front, why not play Sacco? He's a big lad. He can hold the ball up well.
And his shots hit the target.
And he's got a beast of a left foot. So actually, I think you've put too much on Cabaye in defence. He needs someone else alongside.
Do you know how good he is?
Yeah, I think he's a wonderful, beautiful, incredible man. But I think Sacco playing number 10, if not further forward, alongside Gale or behind, whatever, with Gale, is interesting. Very interesting. That's as much as I'll say about that. But I think Sacco is an interesting one for me because I think he's one of these players that's probably going to delight and infuriate us in equal measures. He's not the finished article by any stretch of the imagination, and he's been playing in the Championship, but he's got some good attributes, and that left foot is brilliant, and he's going to be a very interesting player for us. And on a free, what a bargain.
I like the thing about Sacco actually that Pardew came out and praised Parish for that. I don't know if you heard.
Really?
He said that it was not a player that he wasn't keen on, just a player that he wasn't going in for. And he said Parish knocked on his door and said, yeah, I found this fella. What do you think? And I don't know. I went, look, let's just gamble. Free transfer. First game, scored 2, and he got an assist.
Yeah.
The same way at Chelsea. So that's good. We've got a,
Been
playing as Football Manager, Steve. 100% been playing as Football Manager because the guy's good at it.
Well, I think we're a club now that is in a position we can take gambles. We've not always been able to do that, and we can now. So why not? If it doesn't pay off, it doesn't pay off. But if it does, then...
Was John Hall's not a gamble in 2009 when he played 45 minutes? Remember Nathan Ashton?
No.
Do you remember Nathan Ashton?
No.
On loan from Fulham.
Nathan Ashton.
Yeah. He was 5 foot left back under Peter Taylor.
I remember Halls, because at that time we had Halls, Hall, Hills and Hill.
Yeah, terrible hair. Didn't he have terrible hair, John? Under the slick back.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't good. He was not good. But to be fair, he was a nice guy.
Well, listen, that means a lot to me. Players being nice guys. I don't know why, but it does. And we seem to have quite a lot of them in the current squad.
Talking of nice guys,
yeah,
I've been joined by one. Keith Millen, we'll be talking to him later.
Yeah, very smooth.
Yeah, Jim, let's be honest. We're all friends here.
Yeah.
Prediction. Here we go. This is why we're in this business. This is why we are talking in your ear holes now.
Yeah.
Jim Daly is going to tell me scoreline. Go. Crystal Palace 2. West Brom 1. Do you think they're going to score?
I think they'll score. Yeah. I think
in which order as well?
I think we'll go 2-0 up.
And then, do you know what? Then let them score and sit out the game and be really defensive.
Pulis the game.
I would absolutely love it if we out-Pulis them.
I don't think we're going to keep many clean sheets this season. I don't know why, because we've got a good defence, we've got a good selection of goalkeepers. But maybe it's the way we play, maybe because we're a bit more attack-minded. I think we're not going to keep as many clean sheets, but I don't care. If we're scoring goals, I don't care.
I'm going to be bold.
Okay.
Crystal Palace 3, West Bromwich Albion 2.
Ooh.
Yeah, I do think there's goals in this game. In which way they will come, I do not know. I think set pieces will be massive in this match. We've got Hangeland and Dan. They've got about 8 people over 6'8".
Yeah.
That's just the way Tony likes to do things, and that's fine. That's up to him. But I think there will be goals in this game, so I'm going to go for 3-2. Should we get a little prediction league going?
Yeah, let's do
every
it.
week. Me and you.
Yeah.
End of the season. Drinks on the other person.
Done.
Done?
If the drinks are...
What do you drink, actually?
Water.
Yeah, what do you drink? Because...
Well, for the purposes of this, I drink quadrupled JD and Cokes.
Well, you're feeling confident, aren't you? There we go. We're back. We have been back. Mm-hmm. We've been in your ears. I hope you've enjoyed it. Bit different. But we'll be back again.
Absolutely.
Hopefully. If they like us.
I'm sure.
Do you like us? Please tell us if you do like us. Because you can tweet us, as always. We're back on @Palace Radio. We don't have a website yet.
We're working on it,
alright? We're getting the guys. I can hear them now, tapping away.
Yeah.
Good work, guys. Keep going. But thank you very much for joining me, Jim. It's been a pleasure as usual. And same time next week?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Let's do it.
Who would you pick? Get involved with the lineup predictor by tweeting @Palace Radio. This is the Palace Radio Podcast, proudly sponsored by Syscap for all your IT financing solutions.